But let's talk about that since we're on that. Let's talk about specifically what you can do. You guys have brought up a couple of examples of things that you can go away as a talent team and start doing today. For example, targeting these diverse candidates, these candidates who don't even know they could be potential candidates for your roles in the places where they are. That's one. Two, using messaging or branding that they can identify with. So moving away a little bit from what we traditionally envision as the quintessential tech person, and helping them identify themselves with people who sound like them, who look like them, who think like them, who have similar backgrounds, a similar history. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about specific things that companies can do to improve their attractiveness for diverse candidates, or to widen their pool for these tech roles. And I'll go to you, Matthias and George, if you have anything to get us started with.
Yeah, George, you want to start, or shall I go ahead?
No, please go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I will make the bridge to you, because I think one of the things that I definitely have seen when we talk about attracting and branding, a lot of people, a lot of organizations are already, struggling a little bit with investing proper research about what kind of people do I actually need to attract? What are they doing? How do I come up with personas? How can I, use marketing techniques that are very common in marketing or for marketeers in particular, but like changing the game also within recruiting and employer branding is a little bit thinking outside of what can we do in order to really understand when we talk about campaigning and targeting, as Joanne was just talking about, is like, if we don't understand where they are, we cannot target them, right? And we don't know how they behave. So I think one of the things that I think I would always address to people is like, if they look to redesign their brands or like their practices in general, always, do the research proper. Is this working for us? Is this not working for us? Or talk to people like George, right? On like, what kind of reports do you have? What can you tell me about this, right? A lot of agencies these days earn a lot of money on like, oh, you need tech people, you need these kind of target groups, these kind of technologies. Let's do a survey outside of your company, and then really get some data points of trying to understand what those people need, and then benchmark it against what industry are you in. Also, another one, if you don't have any money for research, start with your own people, right? Start with the people you have, right? I think it's very clear that authenticity, the way you think about your culture, the more real this comes across, the more like people can relate to this. We said this earlier also in the conversation, the more you can build that personal connection. And it's not about, oh, is this really Beamery and the product, but it's more about, I like Beamery because the culture and the people that are in and the stories that are told are something that excites me. And it goes way back to this whole, oh, we are only focused on salary and et cetera, and years of experience. We all know that is already the biases right there, right? Because years of experience, what does it tell you? I think generally speaking, I've seen a lot of people who just have 3 years experience and completely, knock people out of the park that have 10 years of experience, because it's just a matter of in which environment did you have that experience, right? Similar to what we do also with internally with Beamery, trying to understand when people are in organizations, which time are they in the organizations? What have they done? Was this a hyper growth phase? Was this more of monitoring and maintaining status quo? It tells you a lot about the personality and what they have gained in terms of skill sets, and to really say, is this the right person or not for me? But George, I'm handing over to you because you're more the data person here.
For sure. No, thank you. So I think first of all, I'd say as Technation, we've published a diversity and inclusion toolkit, and I definitely recommend people as a first point of call to have a look at that. It's free, it's online, and take a look. Within that, we've got a section on the employee life cycle, and there are 4 things. So 4 things that I think are really important. Firstly, and very much aligned with your point, was tracking and getting the data, and that starts with when it comes to hiring, tracking who's applying for the roles you're advertising. You can start to see really interesting trends just through doing a bit of data collection and understanding who is applying for those roles. before that, actually, setting hiring principles that are clear, that are well defined, and actually allow you to have very clear decision-making criteria that are checked over by a wide variety of colleagues and or other people within the organization are really important. That will, again, allow you to have that sense of transparency, and it's a good start to having a very clear decision-making process. The third thing is monitoring who progresses at the performance rating or appraisal or pay review stages, and really not just monitoring performance, but actually monitoring the outcomes of those reviews as well, and making sure that that again is tracked. And then finally, tracking who's leaving your organization. So really from the very sort of start of a person's engagement with your organization from a hiring perspective right through to the end of that process, making sure you've got good data on it. I think the point that you made around research and actually understanding the market and the broader wide world out there is very important as well, but actually start with yourself, because as a company, that's something that you have control over. Get it in shape, and then get I guess an understanding of what else is happening out there.